So you know, so there are the different schools. So I don't know the Makari's where all the different schools started changed and started from, but Al Kalpanim. So we know there are the two famous, base famous schools is Nusach Sfard and Nusach Ashkenaz, and so two different minhagim how we do our tefillas. So the shaila is someone able to change? Someone wants to switch to another nusach. It's like a seder, saying that everyone's used to that tefillah. So it's an issue to change. So the Magen Avram in Siman Samaches, he brings down B'Shem Darizal that the Rizal is very makpid. He is picky about which piyutim what he would say. He would only bring tefillos which were miyusan alpi chachmas emes and from the Rishonim. He wouldn't a lot of the piyutim he skipped out. He says, but still, he says all the different eschais that people have, they should be careful not to change them. Why? Because it says there Yud Beis Sharim. Just like in the Beis Hamikdash, there were 12 different gates. Each shevet had their own way to go in. So too, L'maydo, when we daven, each shevet has their own way to come close to the Eibishter. And there are 12 nuschais for all the shvatim. For all the shvatim, there's a different nusach, a different way how to daven to the Eibishter. In Mela, so we don't know upon which shevet we are, or what's the right nusach. But al kapanim, you have a certain nusach, you have a certain minute. Even daven a certain eifim, you can't. It's not safek, you can't change because maybe you're changing from the right nusach. So this is in the first Ma'arim Machim. The Magen Avram writes.
The master entrance.
Yeah.
Master key.
Are you talking about the Shara Keilah? Okay, we're going to get there soon. There's something called the Shara Yod Gimel. There's a 13th gate. We'll get there soon. So that the Magen Avram says, "Hariza loy hayu imer piyutim u'pizmeinim elo mash sidru harishonim." Only in those piyutim and the parts of tefillos which were set up by the Rishonim, kagoin hakaliri shenisachnu al derech emes. But omnam haminhagim shenago b'shershi hatefillah. But the different minhagim which you have in the Shoshi Tefillah, you shouldn't change from the way you daven in your place. Why? Yud Beis Sharim b'Shamayim. There are 12 different gates in the Shamayim. Neged Yud Beis Shvatim. Can I give the 12 Shvatim? The Chol Shevet Yishlei Shar Umin V'Levad Mash Niskar B'Gemara, which is Shava L'Chol. So in each Shevet has their own Shar. And therefore there are different minhagim in Tefillah. So this is corresponding to each of the different Shvatim. It's not pshat that there's one nusach which is the correct nusach. There are every person, each shevet has their own nusach. This is all besides for the basic things which are shavla, which are brought mentioned in the Gemara in the Pesachim, which are the same for everyone. You have Shemona Esrei and Shema and Baruch Shamar. So all those things are the same. But then all the other shinuyim that changes according to each person, to each shevet.
Doesn't say that minhag hofech ledin.
Say it again. Minhag is what?
Minhag hofech ledin.
Therefore,
if you have parents, it's a din, you have to do it. You cannot change.
Yeah, I'll teach the shul is now
you're allowed to change on the second.
You're allowed to change it.
No.
This is
it's based upon your minute.
Yeah. So based on
you can't change from your minute.
But this is
you can't.
This is besides for Al Titash Teiras Yimecha. This is regardless of that, the Al Titash. There's a separate issue of changing nusach because maybe this is the wrong nusach for you.
How would you know that?
You don't know, but that's why. Since you're mashpacha, since you were always nicked to daven like this, your makim was nicked to daven like this, you shouldn't change. How could you change to another one? Maybe this is the right one. So chazaka, you start off davening like this. You should keep like that.
What is about true with them?
Yeah, many times
he doesn't have him serve it.
Yes,
So how does he
discuss it. They discuss it.
Well, again, even noch better.
Factually speaking, a lot of nuschos, besides this area, that are developed. What do you mean it's your family's nusach? You go back to this, that they're developed, and you know when the nusach was developed, precisely as it was. So how does it stick with what you're saying, that you should not move away from your nusach and go,
Okay, you saying it's funny. You grew up davening with a certain nusach in your town. Everyone davens on a certain nusach. He moves to a different town. You shouldn't change.
But that you know for a fact, actually speaking, that nusach only came out that it's only so old. It's so many years, and the family, for a fact, it was a previous nusach you had before this amount of years. So you're telling me that from that shevet, how does it stem with what you're saying, that it's made for you and your shevet and everything? It's really a double question I'm asking. This is factually speaking, as these nuschais came out, it would definitely change a mass amount of people and regions in Europe. And furthermore, you know for a fact that that's not initially going, if you could go back several generations, you know for a fact that that was not your nusach.
How do you know that?
Because the nusach only came out as
Which,
a
for
nusach.
example,
But the nusach could have came out 1,000 years ago.
For example,
How would
which
you-
nusach?
Your
Like
presumption
nusach ashkenaz and
from
Sfarad,
tradition.
No, nusach Sfarad, but nusach, we know when nusach Ari came out.
Oh, okay, so you're talking
Okay.
specifically.
Nusach changed it. What? How did, what's his?
Okay, so you're talking specifically
tradition.
about Nusach Ari, about all other Nuschais. We're not talking about Nusach Ari.
We're not talking about
So
Nusach.
Nusach Sfard and Nusach Ashkenaz. That's what we're talking about over here. We're not talking about Nusach Ari.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the Misha, when we get to the Shifra Misha, you'll see he says what you're saying.
so-
We'll get there.
It was-
Saying, but here we're talking Nusach Ashkenaz and Nusach Sfard. So someone their Mishpach has always been davening Nusach Ashkenaz and Nusach Sfard. He shouldn't change. Yeah, the Prima Gadim says on the Magen Avraham, someone davens one, someone Nusach Sfard can change to Nusach Ashkenaz. Someone davens Nusach Ashkenaz, he shouldn't change to Nusach
But
Sfard.
only even nusach Sfarad as we have it was only developed. It was based on ashkenaz. If you go back to the time of the early days of Vitri and after the Rashi and the Balei Tosfos, that nusach Sfarad, which we have, not based on Sfardi, was only developed.
But the
based on-
Sfaradi was in the beginning
Right,
of the
was
time.
based on
So-
is based on Nusach Ashkenaz, and that also came at a certain period of time, changed.
I don't know the history about it. You're saying Nusach Sfard came after Nusach Ashkenaz? That's what
Well,
you're
the
that's
way
what you're
we
saying?
have Nusach Sfarad, the Hasidic Oilam, which governs Nusach Sfarad, that also came later. It's not Sfarad.
You're referring to Nusach Ari?
No, even before Nusach. Well, Nusach Ari was Nusach Sfarad, the way we have
Okay,
it.
so you're referring to you're still referring to Nusach Ari, the Hasidic Nusach.
Well, if you're saying that really, I guess you're right. When you said Nusach Ari,
I daven something in a Svardish shul is almost identical to what the Chassidim daven. It's almost identical to
Okay,
Siddur.
so
Go into Beth Torah, Beth Torah. You look at their Siddur. It's almost the same thing, but you
I
go to
I
Chassidim.
understand what you're
It's
saying.
almost the same
So
thing.
you're saying when you say
Let's get to
Nusach Ari,
them.
you're referring to the whole. You're talking about Nusach Sfar when you say Nusach Ari.
we're talking about Nusach Sfard, Nusach Ashkenaz, talking about regular, real
I
Nusach
see.
Sfard. That's what we're referring to over here. We're before all that. So
You have many times, right? A kid comes to yeshiva. A kid from Sephardi house comes to Ashkenazi yeshiva. He's the only one that there. You can't have an easy whatever. Then the opposite, you have a
There's a
Ashkenazi
lot for
Sephardi.
Kedushi has to do with.
so that's different. Right? So the Shai is what do you do in such a case? Okay, that's different. Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't get into that so much.
One of my daughter was born in Neshama. She's Baruch Hashem. She's 40 now. When she was born, I called my mother in Israel, and I told her I'm going to the shul not to name the kids. I'm going to name your name because we name by your life. My father we named, and he has a lot of names that when he was alive. She said, in our minhag we don't call. My father minhag the call. My mother minhag they don't call. They're all for the Ben Ish Chai.
Okay.
It's unbelievable. So we call her Neshama. So I told my wife, what are we going to call her? She's a good Neshama. We call her Neshama. We call her Neshama. So you see, the same place,
Right.
they have different minhag, and I don't know that she doesn't call her name. I was so happy to call her name, you know.
And that's how
When
fun.
I see
So
someone,
this is.
Mashiach will come, what Nusach will be davening.
So then we'll know that each will know what shaper. We're not 12 different Nuschais.
We all be Mashiachistic.
The opposite, the Mashiach will make all Jewish people unite. It's not going to be a
We
place.
one Nusach.
Right, we're all going to be in one Nusach.
So you want to know which Nusach he will do.
Let them come and we'll see.
Let them come.
Fine, so going on weiter. So the Shaila, so
You know what?
here the Magen Avraham only tells you that there are 12 Nuschais. But the Shaila is that it's known that the Arizal, there are 12 Nuschais. We only know of two of them.
Oh, each have it.
We only know of two of them, but there are supposed to be 12. So, but the Pale, every snow, and it's brought down that all there's known that the Nusach made, the Arizal made another Nusach. He made a Nusach at Tefillah. He didn't write the Siddur himself. He was Masader. He taught his Talmidim how to
Chaim
daven.
Vital made
And-
nothing. He gave it to Chaim Vital. Chaim Vital.
I don't think Chaim Vital made a Siddur. But there's a few. Al Kapanim, yeah. So
How much of a deviation?
so he
is
made.
it? Is it a major deviation?
So he made a nusach. So the shayla is, what's with this nusach?
He
Is
did
it
not make that nusach. If you look at the Yidin Shara Kavanot, he writes that Rabbi Chaim Vital writes that Ari used nusach in a certain sidur from Shanat such and such, and
right? But the Arizal gave over. He didn't write a siddur, but he didn't make a siddur. He gave over a siddur at tefillah. He gave over kavanas and how to daven, and based on that, his talmidim made siddurim based on his kavanas and based on his
the
siddurim.
contrary, he gave kavanot according to that sidur which Rabbi Chaim Vital mentions.
What is
That
what?
was the
Ashkenaz
sidur
Sfaradi?
being
What's
used in
it?
that
Well,
time.
But there are certain things different. Not everything is the same. He says certain things with Nusach Ashkenaz, certain things with Nusach Sfarad. So the shayla is what's pshat with the Nusach Ari Siddur. So and somehow the Baal Shem Tov and the Talmidim Baal Shem Tov all said that everyone should change to Nusach Ari. Everyone should start davening with this Nusach Ari, and it became a big movement. Now. A lot of people changed from Nusach Ashkenaz to Nusach Ari. So the shayla is what's pshat. The Maggid says you shouldn't. The Maggid quotes Arizal like you shouldn't change, and Mitav Arizal says you shouldn't change. It makes another Nusach, and Mitav everyone starts changing to the Nusach of the Arizal.
Arizal were what, 700 years ago? 6, 7. So it's really
So what's going on?
It's a major change.
So there's a letter from the Maggid, the Maggid a message, the Talmud of the Baal Shem Tov, in the Sefer Maggid Devar of the Yaakov, and some Kuf Lamed Gimel. Someone asked him how should he daven? Well, what should he do with the Nusach Tefillah? So the Maggid tells him that he should daven with the Nusach Ari. So what's pshat the Nusach Ari? He says here, it's known like that, right? We already saw before that Arizal says that there are 12 sharim, there are 12 gates how to go into Shemayim. He says, there's a 13th gate. There's a 13th in the Beis Hamikdash. What happens? Someone doesn't know what shevet he's from. So they go into the Beis Hamikdash. They go into the Beis Hamikdash through the Shariat Gimel. So he says, so too the Beis Hamikdash Shel Maila is connected to the Beis Hamikdash Shel Matan. So too in the Beis Hamikdash Shel Maila, when we enter through our tefillos, there's also a Shariat Gimel. And Arizal was misakin that the Arizal made when he made the Nusach Ari, his Nusach was a Shari Yud Gimel, and therefore that's why the Baal Shem Tov and the Maggid is pushing everyone should daven with Nusach Ari, because over here this is the Shar HaKoil and all the Shvatim. And people don't know where Shevet are from. Anyone could come in through the Shar. Everyone could come in through this gate.
So why change your minute though? What gave him a right to change his minute? He had a siddur before.
So according to this, it's fine because we still don't know. Maybe we only have 2 nuschos, but there are people from 12 different shvatim.
But he has a tradition from his father. His father told him to what siddur he should daven from. What gives him a right to go ahead and make up his own? Make shinuyim.
It's the same Arizal. The same Arizal says he shouldn't change from Nusach Ashkenaz to Sfarad because maybe how do you know if this Nusach is the right one?
No, how do you do that?
But the only issue is if you're changing to a Nusach, which maybe this Nusach is not the right Nusach for you. But the Nusach Ari, which is the Shar HaYud Gimel, which works for everyone, works for every shevet, so there's no issue to changing to the Shar HaYud Gimel.
This is a Vadai and this is a Suffolk.
Yeah.
It's a must.
How does he know that? He knows that big.
The Arizal?
Yeah, and the Vua.
You heard of the Arizal before? Some you know about the Arizal, yeah?
Yudke, so then I have to tell him, Nusach Ari then. He said, this is a Suffolk and this is a Vadai. Ain't something must be Vadai, right?
It definitely won't hurt.
But that's what he's saying.
But he's telling you don't change.
What?
He's telling you don't change.
Yeah, but he said,
Wait,
this is a Suffolk.
Okay, wait till we
But
get.
he telling you don't change.
Okay.
Stay with you.
Wait till we get to the Chassan Sefer. Yeah, let's read off the
It gets more confusing as it gets.
Let's read Lashon of the Maggid in the second Maramaki, number 2. He writes, Zeis kvar noida she'amar Razal that Yud Gimel hishtachavoyes hoyu b'mikdash negi Yud Gimel shorim. They were about 13 times connected to 13 shorim. V'nirmas v'yecheskel. Fine. V'hina Yud Beis shorim him shar l'chol shevet. Each shevet has their own gate. V'yadua shebeis hamikdash shel mata mechavin connected beis hamikdash shel ma'ila. ונמצא שיש לבית המקדש של מעלה גם כן שער לכל שבט, כמובן בכספי האריזל, כנגד היו הישנח הוויוס. So we see also Shemaila there are also 12 gates. Fine, the second paragraph. Also the concept of davening. You want to go into the base of Mikdash Shemaila. Each one has their own gate, and they want to go in. It says, yeah, it's a ladder, and you're climbing up. Each gate has its own different tzirufim of different the shenis of Hashem to get in. That's why we have different nuschos. Someone doesn't know a shifti, he doesn't know how to come in. That's the 13th gate.
They don't say when Mashiach come, he would tell people, you from Shevet Reuven, you from Shimon. Nobody knows where it is.
So kind of right. So Mashiach comes, maybe it will change back. I don't know. Either we'll have Nusach Ari, or everyone will know what their Nusach Ari is.
The publishers would make them good parnasha. It's 12 different Sidura. Be a boom.
When the Mashiach comes, the whole issue to tefillah will be changed completely. But you won't be saying the Shemon Esrei like you say today at all, because certain things will be obsolete.
Uvenei Yerushalayim will be obsolete.
Let them come already.
The Mabit in Seif Beis Elkini writes that certain things off the chain, instead of saying davening and Tekabah Sheif Gadol Chiraseinu, we'll say thing or Neidolcha Al Shetikata Sheif Gadol Chiraseinu. So we're going to have to. Says we're going to have to change certain nuschos, yeah.
You don't say, Shivenu Letzion Yirecha Berachamim.
Yeah, we're going to be taking the
I don't think you don't say.
Fine, let's go weiter. So what did the Arizal do? So in third paragraph, number 2, he says in it, L'ki ha'arizal, b'yois n'hirin lei shvilin d'rekia, since he knew all the pathways of the Shemaim, l'imei dases ha'am l'misha in makir ha'shivtei, he taught all the people who didn't know what their Shevet was, but he can seder nulukot mikam nuschos chidol lebekim, and he made a seder, which he picked out from all the different nuschos.
It's good for everyone.
And therefore, that works for everyone. This is a Shah Yod Gimel. And I was saying, can ask a Shaila, so who needs the Yud Beis Sharim? Everyone should just go into the Shah Yod Gimel.
That's it.
So he says, V'im yishal ha-Shaila is at Seidechem Yud Gimel Sharim, Halei Yud Gimel hu kel kulam, ha'yadai v'zeh. Let's just have one game, everyone will go
That's the
through.
master key.
He says, HaTshuva, ki b'zman sha'yidim kol shevet v'nusach ha'shayich l'chol shevet shevet. He says, in the time when everyone knew which shevet they were, which nusach they were supposed to daven, v'vadei ha'yisra tevli kanas v'shar
Which
shalom.
one is on?
He says, for sure it would have been better to go through his own gate. And he says that the reason is kept secret by him. He's not saying what the reason is, but he says it is better. He says, now that we don't know, he goes on weiter, we don't know which shevet we are. And they adds in this Nusach, it says, even someone knew that they're a Kayin or a Levi, still, they don't know which Nusach is their proper Nusach. Yeah, we have Kayin and Levi and Yisraelim. How could everyone be davening for one Nusach? So it must be something's wrong. Therefore, he says everyone should go with Arizal, which is Shav l'chol nefesh. It works for every shevet.
So Chabad is Ari.
Chabad is Nusach Ari.
How come the Kadmonim didn't know this? Why suddenly?
So you're coming to the Chassan Sefer time. Yeah, we'll get there in a minute.
You're talking about 700 years ago. You're talking, depends what window of time you're looking at.
So,
1,000 years.
It's the same question like which tefillin Rashi put and which one.
But he was just what?
So,
How come Rashi didn't have
so essentially the
Rashi is
Shar HaKoilon,
Rashi should have known this better. Just as good as the Rizal.
in the Seif Shar HaKoilon in his Hakdama, where he explains the whole concept of Nusach Ari, he quotes over there from the Mittel Rebbe in the Shar Yichud. He says that it's not that he says that this concept of the Shar Yud Gimel, it's not a chiddush of the Arizal. The concept of the Shar Yud Gimel, 13th gate, that existed beforehand. He says all the parts of Tefillah that were all equal, that we all have in the same. You have Shemona Esrei, Barsha Omar, and Yishtabach. He says all those things were all Nuschos are the same. That is a Shar Yud Gimel. Shar Yud Gimel always existed. And all Yiddim, when we daven the parts in the space that we are all the same, that is a Shar Yud Gimel. Elamai, the other parts of davening, we had our own Sharim. Sukkah de Zimra and Birchas Kriya Shema. He says the Chiddush of the Arizal was that we should use the Shar Yud Gimel for the other parts of Kriya Shema also. He has been saying that also for Sukkah de Zimra and also for Birchas Kriya Shema we should use the Shar Yud Gimel. Shayat Gimel is a known concept. It was being used beforehand also. But just the Arizal stretched out. We should use it for the other process.
So why didn't you use it before then?
So before then they didn't know how to. I guess they didn't know.
He was the only one who knew how to do the combination.
It took a Arizal. I'm saying.
There were other people who were just as big as him before.
There were, but I'm saying everyone has their Zman, everyone has their time. The Eivishter is only Megala. Everyone only knows what the Eivishter is Megala to them, right?
But one second, we daven.
But the problem was there, though.
Mm-hmm.
The problem was there, and the solution wasn't there.
Yes.
The problem didn't change.
Before Beis Hamikdash also there was davening. Before Beis Hamikdash.
Yeah, but that was
davening, right?
That was custom.
Avinu daven, Yitzchak daven, Yaakov daven. We know that.
I'm not sure. Yeah, so I'm not sure what's going on. If there used to be 12 different schleis, I'm not sure. How do we only end up with 2? I'm not sure.
So
I don't know.
Shvatim Ishevet.
The 10 Shvatim's gone. We only have 2.
Yeah. We only have 2.
daven only Shachis, Yitzchak daven only Mincha.
But how we know now which
Mm-hmm.
shah I make kavana for my shah? I don't know what shah.
So we don't know. We don't know. That's what the Arizal says. That's why.
But no, you make kavana before you daven and I go and do shah.
So
let's go right to the Chasam Sefer. So who's the one that?
Let's get some sort.
So the Maggid and the Baal Shem Tov and his Talmidim and the Maggid were all pushing that everyone should change to Nusach Ari because it's a Shayat Gimel. It works for everyone. So who are the ones that came out against this? So one of them is the Chasam Sefer. And how did it come up? So the Chasam wrote to the Chasam Sefer. There's a nice in some shul where they daven in Nusach Sfard to Nusach Ari. He calls Nusach Ari Nusach Sfard, and they would daven Nusach Ari over there. And someone came in. He was wearing wool clothes, and someone came up wool clothes.
Wool clothes. Yeah.
So he's wearing some type of bag, and the guy told him that, what are you doing over here? Someone who wears such clothes shouldn't daven in a shul where they daven Nusach Ari by the Umad. So someone asked.
What was wrong with the clothing, though? So
I read this. So they wrote to the Chasam Sefer. Is there some issue? Chasam Sefer has no idea. He says maybe the guy's worried about issue of chashash shatanis. He says everyone wears these clothes. He doesn't have any chashash. He's not aware about any chashash of shatanis. He says he has no idea what the guy is talking about. But Agav, once he says on the comment that he made that in the shul you don't deserve in the place where he davened Nusach Sfar, Nusach or Nusach Ari. So he says. So then he gets all. He goes on into attach, and he says it's all the same thing. One nusach is not better than a different nusach. They all go in the same derech. They all go in the same derech. They all go into the same way. And even the Arizal, he says he calls the nusach. He calls the Arizal's nusach Sfard because a lot of things are similar to nusach Sfard. He says in the Arizal's nusach, the whole reason he made his nusach Sfard is because he was a Sfardi. He was a Sfardi, so he was mefarish all his. So he was mefarish all his kabbalas. Since he davened Nusach Sfar, so he was mefarish all his kabbalas according to Nusach Sfar. But he says if Arizal would have been an Ashkenazi, or if there would have been another Ashkenazi who was as big as Arizal, he would have done the same thing with the kavanas. He would have done the same thing. Basically, we'll see soon that the Chasam Sefer didn't see the Sefer Maggid Dvar of Yaakov, but we just saw before this whole concept of the Shayat Gimel. The Chasam Sefer didn't see. He didn't know about this when he wrote this.
Chasam Sefer was a Talmud of
Chasam Sefer. Chasam.
Was the Chasam?
Moshe Sefer, yeah. Chasam Sefer.
It's the son.
The Chasam Sefer was a Talmud of Nusach Adler.
Yeah.
Nusach Adler himself does.
Daven Nusach Ari. Yeah, he writes it in the Tshuva. That's how we know that because he writes it. The Chasam Sefer writes it himself. We'll see. So he didn't know this. He didn't see this whole concept of the Shar Yud Gimel. So according to him, the whole concept of Nusach Ari what was the whole concept of Nusach Ari? It was Nusach Sfard that came with a user's manual. It came with the Kavanas. It came with the Kavanas of the Arizal. He said both Kavanah, Nusach Ashkenaz and Nusach Sfard, they both have the same Kavanas. Just it's different ways of doing it. The Arizal gave us the user manual for Nusach Sfard, so we know how to down with it. Nusach Ashkenaz, we happen to not have. We didn't have the unfortunately we didn't have the Arizal didn't give us the user's manual for Nusach Ashkenaz, so it doesn't work. So he says, Al Kavanah, if someone understands the Kavanas of the Arizal and they want to use the Nusach Sfard because it fits with the Kavanah, so it goes into hate. But someone who doesn't understand the Kavanas Arizal, why should he daven Nusach Sfard? Why is it any better than Nusach? Both of them he doesn't. Nusach Sfard and Nusach Arizal are not any better than Nusach Ashkenaz. The only mile is if you understand the Kavanas. If you don't understand the Kavanas, what are you gaining?
You can apply the Kavanas from the Arizal to Nusach Ashkenaz.
But it's a different Nusach. It doesn't fit. The kavanas work differently.
We're talking about nusach is the actual wording, the wordage.
Right, but the kavanas fit with the nusach. It goes together. So we'll read this tshuva. He writes in number 3.
Yeah,
it's in
that's
Chedek Aleph Eidechayim Sim Tezvav. So he says, Kol hanuschai shavi zu kazu. They're all the same. Chosh yesh bezu yesh bezu. Everything you have this and you have that one. El she'ini tonu yedei adma. We don't understand how. Ki kol nuscha v'nuscha eina ela signon echad meshuna michaverta. It's just a different way of saying things. They all go into the same way. Sheba nerha lekim hariz atzal. The Izin Chik Vatikan Ki Hu Yada Techan Advarim. He was masaking things and he made a nusach. Hu Hamid's Besiduri Kol Dover Al Mechainoin. He put everything in place like Kavanis. Vikila Talumis Shel Hanuscha Hahi Hasfardis. And he was Megala the Kavanis of the Nusach Hasfardis. Yanki Haya Svardi because he was a Svardi. Vilu Haya Hu Haya Ashkenazi. Oy Haya Ninsab Ashkenazim Ishkamayu. We would have found someone like him. Haya Isiki about Besidur Ashkenazi. You would have done the same thing for the Ashkenazim.
Same thing.
So he says it's all this. He says there's nothing special about the Nusach Ari. It's just that you have the Kavanis, but the Etzem Nusach is just the same thing as Nusach Sfard.
The reason with the Sephardi came from Spain.
So a lot of that.
But I heard he was Ashkenaz and his Talmidim were from other.
So I was reading someone was writing that his father was an Ashkenazi, his mother was a Sephardi. So that's one of the Arin they tie on the Chassan Sefer. Was Pshati was a Sephardi, wasn't he?
Luria isn't a Sephardi's name.
Right? Yeah. He's saying he was.
Lori's not Sephardi.
His last name Luria.
He was related to the
Ashkenaz name.
He was related to the Rashal. He was related to the Rashal.
Who's the Rashal?
Rashal. He was in Europe.
He was a contemporary of the Ramah.
Oh, I see.
He was related to Ramah also.
Yeah. So that's one of the things. So he wasn't Mamish. He wasn't Mamish Sephardi. And a lot of things. And I'll say a little later the different Chaim Tainas. What's Pshat in Nusach Sephardi? There's tons of things in Nusach Ari which fits with Nusach, which is not like Nusach Sephardi. So whatever. These are some of the Tainas. But anyways, he ends off in number 3. People daven Nusach Sephardi, meaning he calls Nusach Ari on Nusach Sephardi because according to his understanding, it's the same thing. Mistama, but why did they daven? Why did they switch from Nusach Ashkenaz to Sephardi? Mistama bo b'seid Hashem nichnesu b'seis hamadrega v'yedi ma sha'imrim yafa also. So these people that they understand the Kavanas Arizal and therefore they switched to Nusach Sephardi. So fine, good. But Mishlei Yelakach Gegoin Anachnu Masha Anu Misval Maderach Misakni Atfilos Nuschei Ashkenaz Gan Tfilos Seinu Nishmals. So people don't understand the Kavanas Arizal. We're just davening al das whoever was Misakin the Nusach. We daven al das his Kavanah. So maybe there's no chiluk between Nusach Sephardi and Ashkenaz. Avayin leimer shetfil zum mishun mechaverta. Can't say that the Nusach Arizal is any different than or any has any might over Nusach Ashkenaz. So this is what he wrote over there. So after that, the next tshuva, so someone they wrote back to him. They say, "How could he say such a thing?" There's a Sefer Magid of Yaakov. The Magid writes that the Nusach Ari is a whole different Nusach. It's a whole different thing. It's a Shayad Gimel. So he said, first of all, he says, "Ain't Sefer Tachas Yadi," so he doesn't have the Sefer available. He says he barely has time to. He barely doesn't have time to. He barely has time to learn Gemara Rishonim. He usually doesn't look into Achreinim. He says, and he ends off. He questions this whole concept of the Shariat Gimel. So this is number 4. The fourth Ma'amok in the Chassan Sefer writes, and this is in Siman Tazayin. So Masha Heting Malasim Sefer Lukuti Amorim. Isay Sefer L'Nimsa B'Kilo Sino. I don't have it. Va'ach Lisa Chisin Lahavin Divrei Sefer Ahu Shekasab Nuschas Sfardis He Lebnei Tarivas. That is for other. That is for people who Bnei Tarivas. I mean, they don't know what Shevet they're from.
Oh, I see.
So they don't know what Shevet they're from. Yeah. Im Kain Yas HaKayanim Haladim Sheyedim Shivtam Lo Yehayu Lisvav B'Nusach Zu Elo Nusach HaYadu LaKayanim. So even according to the Arizal, so why are Kehanim and Levim davening the Nusach and Nusach Ari? They should be davening a different Nusach. So be'emes, I'm saying if you would have saw the letter from the Magid, it would have been for Enford, because he said, first of all, we don't know what Shevet we are, and also we don't know which Nusach to daven. So even if you know which Shevet they're from, you still don't know what's the right Nusach. So be'emes, that Shai is already for Enford. And also, yes, he goes on weiter. Right in times of the Gemara, people didn't know what Shevet they were from. Mishpatel bin Avutul Dis Yehuda. So there were some families they knew where Shevet they were from, but everyone did it. In came Kulim Spalos Sfartis. Everyone was davening Nusach Ari in the times. If Nusach Ari is people that got mixed up, so everyone was davening Nusach Ari back then already. So if already back then they should have davened Nusach Sfard, according to you're saying that Nusach and Nusach Sfard, which right he says Nusach and Nusach Sfard, he says the same thing, is for people who are mixed up. So in the times of the Gemara, everyone should have already been davening Nusach Sfard. So where did Nusach Ashkenaz fly out from? They're from Shevet Levi.
Shevet Levi was B'chali B'Shvatim.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they had a different tefillah.
So yeah, according to our result, Shevet has their own tefillah. So where did these other nuschais come from? Actually, Hayul Talmud that weren't around then. And the Hini Kol Chachmi Tzarfas, he says Rashi Bali Ateises Veram.
Remain Rottenberg, maybe.
Ram Rottenberg, okay. Aram, yeah. Varosh, Vatur, Kulam Yispal Ashkenazis, V'yadu Shivtam, but also Tfilas Mashamayma. And they sure accepted their Tfilas of them, even though they don't know they're saved in Daf and Nusach Ashkenaz. So things worked out.
Ashkenaz also are Jews. It's okay.
So another tiny house over there is how if everyone if each Shevet has their own Nusach, how could they definitely get there in a minion? Saying everyone's.
That's a problem.
Yeah, how could they even start it? He has that shayla also. He says, "Al kin divrei sefer and al kin divrei sefer achosum." It's you can't understand it. You can't shaylas. You can't understand it. But kvar kasav Ramban b'sifrei milchamis chayva that kol mashalei nimsa b'shas ba'avi Yerushalmi midasheim in adam chayiv lahaminui. Amamin yamin. You're not chayiv to believe it, but you want to believe it, you could, but you're not chayiv to. So this is what the Chasam Sefer says. This is his tightness. Yeah, so again, what is tightness? He's saying.
What's the Rambam said again?
Ramban.
Oh, Ramban.
So if it's not written in Shas, Vav, and Yerushalmi, and in Midrashim, you're not mechuyev to believe it.
That's a big statement.
He brings it. The Chasam Sofer brings it in his shul number Tes Zion. He brings this thing that the Ramban had a fight, a debate with a Meshumad, Pablo Cristiani. So the king of Spain and like 300 people, the whole thing, and they're fighting back and forth. And then so the Meshumad, he said certain midrashim. It sounds like they're right. So the Ramban said, so it's a medrash. I don't believe it. Big deal. Do you want to do me something? So, and he said, like, you're Catholic, on Sunday you go to church, and the Galach makes a drasha. So let's say you don't like the drasha, so now you're ice Catholic, and not Catholic anymore. It's a drasha, that's all. So the Chasam Sofer says that it's la'alacha. In other words, he wasn't daicha b'kash. He didn't make it up to push away the guy, but that's the halacha, like this happened. And he said, why he wrote it? Because someone asked him, do you have to believe what's written in Shivchei Abesh? So the Chasam Sofer says, if it's in the Gemara, you have to believe it. Even you don't understand, you don't like, it's in the Gemara, that's it. After the Gemara, if you want, believe it, you don't want, you're still a good Jew. And he asking in a tshuva, that's halacha.
Okay.
Thank you.
Till today, the Matastar, Chasam Sofer, they might have shtreimels, they might wear long, they might look like polishes, but right now they all daven Nusach Ashkenaz.
Okay.
Some Sofer, understand? You go to some Sofer, you go to Matastar, they put on a star and everything else, but they daven, their siddur itself is Ashkenaz.
Yeah, saying Talmud of the Arizal, of the Chasam Sefer. I'll call him. So again, what is tightness? His tightness were how. So most of his tightness are coming from that he did it. A lot of his tightness are coming from the fact. A lot of the tightness from the Arizal of the Chasam Sefer is that he's understanding that Nusach Ari is the same thing as Nusach Sfard. Right? So then he has a shayach. Everyone's having Nusach Sfard. How does it change? But I'm saying, but again, the Divrei Chaim, the Minchas Elazar, they're all chilek on the Chasam Sefer. And then so I'm saying, well, he didn't see the Sefer Magid Var Yaakov. He didn't see the letter from the Magid, and he didn't see the letter from the Magid. And in the you see clearly that the Nusach Ari is not just Nusach Sfard. He changed things. He made things differently. And when you get to Shilas, how could people daven together? How come the other people's tefillos were being answered? And how could it be even if they didn't know their Shevet? And how could it be that they're mitzvah together in a minyan? So the Sha'ar Kedel brings down from the Mittel Rebbe that the Shayud Gimel is always around. Shayud Gimel, we have Shemana Esrei, we have all these parts of tefillos which were all equal, were all the same. That is a Shayud Gimel. So how could it be they daven their tefillos were here by the Eibishter? They taki use a Shayud Gimel. They taki the Shemana Esrei everyone goes into the Eibishter. And how could he all be misafter meaning? Because I'm saying that by the Iker parts of tefillah we're all the same. We're taka all using the same Shayud Gimel. Elamai the Arizal is Mahader. He was made that in the whole tefillah we should use the Shayud Gimel, not only for Shemana Esrei. So it's a whole. He dav Nusach ashkenaz. He writes in the Tshuva that Taka his Rebbe and also an Adler and also his Rebbe's Rebbe the Haflo. They both dav in Nusach. He calls it Nusach Sfarad, which is Nusach Ari. He dav Nusach Ari. He said ashkenaz, but he says also what's interesting. He says in their shuls, even though they daven by the Omen, they daven Nusach Ari, but everyone else in the shul daven Nusach ashkenaz. They weren't misakin for everyone else to daven Nusach Ari. And
Rabbi Moses told us on Shabbos Adosh once, and he said a Rav came to a new shul. And maybe after the Shia, I'll say.
Okay.
The flow was from the Chayzim of Lublin. He was his Talmud of the Chayzim.
It's Talmud of the Chayzim.
Yeah, him and Reb Shmok, the two brothers. He wound up in Germany, the Hafla, and he kept his Hasidus quietly, but he himself davened that Nusach.
Interesting.
The whole list.
Fine. So going on weiter. So this is the whole Ma'aser. This is a big machlekes with Nusach Ari. So the Maram Shik, he comes and he defends the Chasam Sleifer that Taki Yisuri shouldn't, that the Arizal that he shouldn't change. He shouldn't change the Arizal Chasam Sleifer against changing from Nusach Ashkenaz to Nusach Ari, because you're not supposed to change from one Nusach to another like these Magen Ram brings from the Arizal. But then they have a based on the Maggid and the Talmidim Baal Shem Tov and the Divrei Chaim and the Munkatcher, and they all find that is saying it's not pshat. I'm saying you have the Kabbalah from the Arizal, and saying you have the Kabbalah from the Maggid Mezrish from Baal Shem Tov. Then Nusach Ari is a Shayud Gimel. It's a whole other story. So that's the big machlekes. So what happens? So this is the Nusach Ari. So what happens with the Alter Rebbe Siddur? The Alter Rebbe was also Masakin made a Siddur. So what happened over here? So the Shai Koyol explains. He says that Arizal himself never made a siddur. The Talmidim, later Talmidim, they made siddurim based on the kavanos and based on the teachings of Arizal. And so Memela, he says so obviously the Arizal didn't write himself. So he could also give there's room for some te'usim, and some people added they did some things based on the kavanos of the Ramak. He gives a list of 6 siddurim that he knew of, and he says there were other ones around. There are other siddurim, Nusach Ari siddurim around. He has 6 of them. He says some of them they were printed, the siddur printed without nekudas, because they didn't want the people to be using the siddur, the Nusach Arizal with all the kavanis. So they made the siddur without nekudas, so not everyone should be able to use it. And there are different versions of Nusach Ari going around. And so what did the Alter Rebbe do? So there are 2 things. First of all, Alter Rebbe came. So two main points. First of all, Alter Rebbe came to make a very meduyuk version of the Nusach Ari. So he says the Maggid wanted. The Maggid said that they needed someone to paskin to make a sefer Shulchan Aruch and halacha. And between all the Talmidim of the Maggid, they couldn't find anyone like the Alter Rebbe, and therefore they chose Alter Rebbe. And that's an Alter Rebbe. He had the Ma'ila Sai and Nigla de Torah. He was the biggest guy in between all the Talmidim, and all Sayanista de Torah. He was Sayanista de Torah and Chassidus. So the Ma'ila he was masakin the Siddur that should be an Ifim Meduyuk. Sai alpi diktuk and Sai alpi the Kavonis, and Sai filtered out, and he only put in things which were from the Arizal and which were from the Arizal, and things which were from Medina, from the Shas and Peskin.
But the other Hasidim, they might have made them, but they're not using it.
No,
They're not using the Siddur
Of Alter Rebbe.
Of Alter Rebbe. You're saying they did it, but who would besides Lubavitch and certain other individual groups. Who else is using
Yeah,
the
I'm
siddur?
saying a lot of them aren't going with Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch nowadays either. I'm saying they're going with the Mishnah Berurah. Saying, I don't know, ask them, I can't answer. I
They're
can
going with none of them are reading the brachs over there. I mean, they're going with
say that's a shayla for them. It's not a shayla. I don't know. You have to ask them. I can't answer.
No,
that
I'm just
question.
I'm just asking based on what you're saying. That's it.
I'm just telling you what did Alter Rebbe come to do, right? So each person made their own nusach hadaritza. Which one's more meduya? So the Alter Rebbe also came and made a nusach, which came and made a nusach. But another thing, a big chiddush of the nusach, another thing of the Alter Rebbe siddur is that it should be a nusach which is shav l'chol nefesh. It should be a nusach that everyone could use. And he writes that Alter Rebbe made that the diktuk, the nusach of the Isiyah should fit perfectly according to the kavanos of the Arizal. And there's a letter that there's a letter from the Rebbe. The Rebbe wants to say that. So that the Rebbe says that the Rebbe teaches that since the nusach is meduyik with the kavanos of the Arizal, therefore even someone who doesn't understand the kavanos of the Arizal, since he's davening with that nusach, it's as if he's davening with the kavanos of the Arizal. And the Rebbe writes right over there that it's similar to what Alter Rebbe says in Hilchos Talmud Torah that everyone is mechuyev to learn all 5 chalakim in Torah. Pshat, Remesh, Drush, and Seid. A lot of people pardas, yeah. Some people are not shaykh to Seid. I'll call part of them a taste, whatever you're shaykh to. So I'll call similarly over here. A person has it when it comes into tefillah. A person also needs to daven, needs to have a taste of a little bit of Seid in the tefillah. I don't not shaykh to Seid. So therefore, the Alter Rebbe made us the nusach of the siddur in a way that people could also have a little bit of the Seid involved in the tefillah. And it's interesting. He points out Shara Keilah that even some parts of the Nusach Ari the Alter Rebbe left out of the siddur. And he says the Alter Rebbe understood that those parts of the Kavanos Ari weren't for everyone. Only the parts from the Nusach Ari which he felt was shaykh for everyone he put into the siddur. So that's what the Alter Rebbe was makes it in Alter Rebbe's version of the Nusach Ari.
Is Tikkun Chatzos, is there a nusach where he wrote Tikkun Chatzos? It's not nusach. Or it's left out just by us because the Rebbe said not to say. Or does he actually have a writing on Tikkun nusach?
I'm saying
there is a Tikkun Chatzos by itself.
Yeah, but the Nair prints.
No, it's in the printed siddur.
So you have to look in the Torah, or you have to look in the original siddurim. I'm not sure you have. Let's look in the Torah or siddurim. In the siddur, the regular Tehillas Hashem.
Or had?
Yeah, that one is too.
The Tehillas Hashem, they are malakit. They fix things around. Fine, we have a few more minutes. Let's just finish the next part of the discussion.
The Rebbe said not.
Also,
No, only certain people should.
fine, so going on. So this is a whole machlekes. It's okay to change from Nusach Ashkenaz to Nusach Sfarad. But the next stage of the machlekes, the next stage of the discussion came up. The people were asking the Munkatcher and others. Could someone is not in Nusach Ari, could they change back to Nusach Ashkenaz? Then the question changed.
Should go back to Ashkenaz.
So till now the machlekes was, could he change from Ashkenaz to Nusach Ari? But then then a new question came out. Some people wanted to switch from Ari back to Nusach Ashkenaz.
Mekatarat Nedarim.
I think the Rebbe said no.
So Pastor L'Chira, you're not allowed to change Nusach, right? We saw that he's like not change from one Nusach to another. I though for Nusach Ashkenaz to Nusach Ari. So Nusach Ari is a chiddush. It's an exception. It's a Shara Kailo. But to change from the Shara Kailo to another Nusach, for sure the L'Chira, who's not to that?
They're chaylik with the Chatzos.
Yeah, so this is what the Rebbe writes in the letter in number 8. In English, Kedesh Chilek Yud Aleph. Some people, so there are other letters. Some people writing to the Rebbe, they were thinking about davening Nusach Ari. So he says, the Munkatcher writes, you're allowed to change from Nusach Ari, but not to Nusach Ari, but to change back, you're not allowed to. So don't ask them daven Nusach Ari unless you're serious. And so in number 8, the Rebbe writes, "B'masha kasav ides Nusach hatfilo ube'eza oisius nahas b'zilam mispalim." I'm not sure. Maybe you want to use. He's trying to get enough Nusach Ari. I'm not sure. Hineyain ba'agdom ashar hakailo shematik shom inesiinu hakadeshim asher Nusach Ari hu Nusach hashav l'chol nefesh. It's a Nusach which is set up for everyone equally. Ubeshut marashdam posach shem Nusach Ashkenaz esfar mutar l'shanis. So the marashdam paskins that you're allowed to change. And b'shut divrei chayim.
Who's Marashdam?
Marashdam.
Who's he?
He's from the Chashva Pesach. What's his name? I forgot his name.
Never heard of it. The way you're
he's
saying it, the
quoted-
Rosh Hashanah never.
Yeah,
never heard that.
He's quoted a lot. I think Zichron Aaron reprinted his Shuvas.
I gotta go.
Divrei Chaim, Mamash Hikshal Zeh B'chasam Sefer, U'B'shut Maram Shik, they question on the Nusach Ari, Ein B'shut Beis HaYetzer, Chelek Eir Chaim, Chelek Eir Deya, and Chelek Eir Deya V'shut Minchas Elazar, and Minchas Elazar, Shetirtzu Kol HaKushiyos. Maskanasa, the Maskanasa, the Shuvas of there, Shemutal
That's a munkas.
Yeah. Maskanasa Shemutal L'Shanitz Nusach Ashkenaz Sfarad, Ve'in Shum Deya L'Hativ Nusach Sfarad L'Ashkenaz. Yes, that's what I writes over there. The pale a little bit later, there's a chub from Moshe. Moshe Taka was matir for people to change from Ari back to back to Nusach Ashkenaz. Yeah, what's pshat? So I'm saying it's real. How could you say such a thing? So really, it's Moshe over there is going l'shita s'chasam sefer. He says Betzim he doesn't understand the whole concept of changing to Nusach Ari. These for Enfer. He says it's Sheina Tirutzim. He says doesn't really get it. Betzim he holds you shouldn't be changing from Nusach Ashkenaz to Nusach Ari. He says I l'chaydik and a taina now they shouldn't change back. He says Adarab. He says l'chatchila they were all davening Nusach Ashkenaz. You're telling me you can't change, right? You're saying you can't change from Nusach Ari to Nusach Ashkenaz because that's what you're davening. But we can go back a few generations. Adarabba, they were all davening Nusach Ashkenaz. So now Adarabba, you're going back to the original Nusach. So this is what Moshe writes over there in number 9. It says Hina Yedua in Igros Moshe Erechaim Chelik Beisim Chavdalin. Hina Yedua Shekol Anshe Peilin Ungaran Ruslan Levan Bekenis Harachikim. Karin the
Cold.
No, Krem is Crimea.
The Kavkaz,
Of Kafkas, yeah. Yeah, so.
Hein Bnei Ashkenaz. So besides for them, they were all Bnei Ashkenaz. And Afa Hasidim, even the Hasidim, they were Ashkenazim. Ash and Ispashta Shittas HaChasidus, Hispal Kul Nusach Ashkenaz. They're all davening Nusach Ashkenaz.
Yeah, Hungary had with davening Ashkenaz. More Ashkenazim in Hungary.
Yeah. It says Achakach is Chilu Rashi HaChasidim Lahani Hispal Nusach Achar Beisa Shinui. They made a different Nusach with different Shinui. ונמצא שאין להחשיב שינוי מנהג מה שהשחט לספר לנוסח אשכנז שאין להחשיב שינוי מנהג מה שהשחט לספר לנוסח אשכנז. This is that the person wanted to change back to Nusach Ashkenaz. It's not considered a shinoi. אף שאביך בעיד בייס וגימל דיירס השחילו לספר לנוסח חדש, even though they were davening Nusach Ari. It's not considered a shinoi. Shari adarabba hem shinu min Rabbi Seinu. They're the ones that changed. Rabbi Seinu direi yoyam chachmi tzarfas Ashkenaz. They were the ones that changed from all the Chasidei Ashkenaz. And he says, "Ve'im yidu tam borer b'masha tilu shanis nusach hakavoi." He says, I don't know a good reason why they were matter to change from Nusach Ashkenaz to Nusach Ari. He says, "Al kapanim einu ma'arim al elu sheshinu." I'm not being ma'arim. People change to Nusach Ari. Ki vadai hayulahem tam sharashin l'shanis v'zev. Sure, certainly they had some reasons. Avot she'ech reis l'achsher they spell Nusach Ashkenaz shehu Nusach Aviseinu, but Aviseinu vadai rashai shahavi chesed l'kadvusa. He's going back to the beginning. But again, the whole Nekudah Ramesha says because he doesn't get the whole Mahalach of the Magid. He doesn't get the whole concept of the Shah HaKoilon. He doesn't get the whole Indian. But Mele he says Be'etzim is not this Anani. He's going back to the Chasam Sefer. That's the same thing as all other Neschos. It's just a little bit different. Be'etzim is all the same thing. Be'etzim he shouldn't be changing. And same Mele, someone switches back. There's no issue. But I'm saying, but Mele, someone's going with but Mele Balit the Magid and the Munkacher and everything that's going with the Magid and the Baal Shem Tov. To the end that it's a completely different nusach. It's a shar hakoilol, and you know for sure that this nusach works for you. So there's taka no makom to change from nusach Ari to nusach Ashkenaz.
What was the Ashkenaz? How do they view the shar Yud Gimel? What is the purpose of it?
Who?
I mean, it was 13 shurim, right?
How does who view that?
I mean, the one who the people from way before Ashkenaz. Svarad, Nusach Svarad.
So saying
before the Nusach.
Saying until that.
So what was the purpose of the third shar? How they
in the Beis Hamikdash? I'm saying they weren't worried about the Beis Hamikdash Shalayla. I'm saying they didn't know what was going off over there. They just knew what's going on in the Beis Hamikdash. So how do you know the shar
Koilom? I mean, if no one didn't know what the purpose of the third shar was.
I'm saying in the Beis Hamikdash people.
So why do you say that's
in the Beis Hamikdash people didn't know their sheva they would go in through there. But no one was the Arizal was the one that was Megala that the Ruchnis is also a Shar Yud Gimel. The Arizal was the one that was Megala that there Yud Shorim and there's different Yifanim having
What? But physically there was Yud Gimel Shor. There was a physical.
Right, so that
there
was
a 13th Shar.
That was how to walk into the Beis Hamikdash. But the Arizal was one that was Mechadash, and also in davening there's a 13th Shar. Everyone knew Begashmi is that physically there was a Shar which gate to walk into the Beis Hamikdash.
So you mean to say the other ones felt there was only 12 Shar, no 13 whatsoever.
Yeah, could be they didn't even know about the 12 Sharim. That's also something that Rizal told us. Could be they didn't know about that either.
I thought you were making an association about 13 Sharim, so therefore there was Yud Beis Shvatim, the 13th one
Right,
was
but
Shar HaKoilum.
But until that Rizal came
Now what
around,
the other ones held?
but until that Rizal came around, I don't think everyone realized what was going on in Shemayim. That there also Yud Beis Sharim in the Shemayim and the different schayis are changing everything. I'm not sure if everyone knew about that.
How they said here the Kafkazis are ashkenaz?
No, he's
Like
no.
Bukhari.
That's what he says. He says except for
They
Kafka.
daven different
Levad
Kafkas.
Lekenes are chikim
They're like they daven like you.
but what's
Sephardi, Kafkas.
okay, there's a few other very interesting things. So the next part of the discussion happens.
Where
So
we go now?
in number 10 and onwards. So what happens if you're davening? You're Nusach Sfar, let's say Nusach Sfar, you're Nusach Ari, you're Nusach Ashkenaz. So you're going to daven in a different shul. What do you do? What? So what happens when you go to daven in a different shul? Are you allowed to daven? Let's say, first of all, if you're not chazan, you're davening by yourself. Do you have to daven the same nusach as them or not? So there is a sefer Pasach Shulchan that says that there's an Isra B'Lisas Geidudu that to daven. That you shouldn't separate yourselves from everyone else. You shouldn't.
Well, no, I'm davening. They don't know what I'm supposed.
You're the chazan.
So he said,
I'm the chazan. You have to do what?
no, we're not. Or when you're not the chazan. First of all, when you're not the
but no one
chazan.
doesn't know what I'm davening. I'm davening.
First of all, when you're not the
They hear what I'm
chazan, is
davening.
there? Could you daven your own? Could you daven? Could you daven?
Kitzur Shulchan Aruch says when you go to the Amid, you daven what's the shul nusach.
That's what he's
Silent,
going to do.
quiet Shmoneh
Otherwise,
Esrei
you call the minis.
Okay,
So you're saying something
so-
different. Actually, you're not a proper tzibur. If you're not being tzibur,
Let's finish. Sorry, let me just finish this.
Now I get what you're
And
saying.
so yeah, so but Lapel, but Lapel is mekubal that what's mekubal is our that is fine. It's not a problem. You're davening to yourself. It's not Israelis Geidudu. And this the Rebbe writes in Sefer Minhagim, and he brings down from the Piskei Din and from the Tzemach Tzedek. So something brings Reis. I've already seen the Rashba and other Rishonim that they're machlisim a different piyutim what to say, and they wouldn't say it, even though the rest of the shul is still saying it. So you see, there's not Israelis Geidudu to daven and to have a different nusach from everyone else. So this is.
I'm down in the Bukhari and Shah. I'm down my ashkenaz.
Yeah, you can have it. There's no issue. What about?
Kedusha got to say, but they're nusach.
And
Then you'd be much bit everyone.
so that's right. So that's weiter sure. Okay, so what? Okay, that other no. But there's the next time. What if you're chazan? What if you're going up to?
That's what I'm saying.
What if you're going up?
What
if you're going up to be chazan in the shul?
That's it.
So the Rebbe points out in Har over there that, so the Alter Rebbe is talking about Nusach Ari. So I don't know what other Nusach, but Nusach Ari, he says that Lepel, you see, at Meiser Rav from Nassan Adler and the Haflah, in their shuls they were the Chazan. The Chazan Sefer himself has made that they were the Chazans, and they daven Nusach Ari, and everyone else daven Nusach Ashkenaz. So he says,
So how do you say Kedusha? Like Disha and the Kaddish? How did it go?
So
How did it go?
Pale, you see, Alpidin for sure. For the Alpidin, the Rebbe says there's no issue. You see, Meiser Rav and Haflah and Nassan Adler, but Lapel and all the many shilas, the Rebbe always says that when you get halacha, the Rebbe says suddenly hamachlikas. So all these shilas on the schus is al kapanin. A shaila is a shaila derabanan, a shaila derabanan. What nusach you should use, but machlekes making a machlekes isn't deraisa.
Oh, that's
So
it. Forget about it.
so alfi dinas if no one's ma'arer, so nachinami it's fine. You know
Kalach said also was Look where he wanted.
That's what. So what about? So that's that. And what about? So if you're going to be chazan, so for sure you see down for the nusach of the shul. So what about b'shmona esrei when you're davening b'lachash? So for sure, Chazar Hashas, you have to say the Nusach. You should say so. If that's if you're going to go with the Nusach of the shul, and you're going to go with the Nusach of the shul. What about the Balachash and davening quietly? Could you daven your Nusach, and then afterwards you'll daven the Nusach of the shul? So
What's wrong with that?
yeah, so there's a lot of shuvas.
What's the chesaris?
Yeah, so the Rebbe's in another one. The Rebbe's Messiah from the shuv from the Nesiv Meishiv Dover that he says it's fine. You daven Balachash, you daven your own Nusach, and then afterwards you daven your own. And there's a letter from the letter from the Friedrich Rebbe. He says that also that's what's mekubal, that Balachash you daven your own tefillah, and then afterwards you daven the Nusach of the shul. So the Rebbe has a tzarich iyun because what's the Magen Avram says. What's the reason why we daven? What's the reason the Shliach Tzibur davens Balachash? The Chayr is going to daven again afterwards. He's not being used to everyone. So the Magen Ram says that it's hachana l'sader tefillah. It's a preparation of l'sader tefillah. So Eva Zay says, I can understand.
The Chazor Sishatzi is hachana. That's
No,
what the
the
Amarat
first Balachash. He says Balachash.
Balachash for yourself.
If he's davening again, if he's davening again afterwards B'Koram, why is he davening first of beforehand Balachash?
You're talking about the Shliach
The
Tzibur?
Shliach Tzibur.
You're talking about Shemona Esrei,
So
right?
yeah, so the Magen Ram says that it's hachana l'sader tefillah.
That was then, not now, because now it's not the same. They used to do Chazar Hashas
For the
Amaratzim, but now it's just because it continues on, so it's not the same thing.
So I didn't look into this whole union. The Rebbe says you should do like this, but the Rebbe has a tzarech yil. There's a ship from Moshe. Moshe Taka says it's not the same time. He says that it's an issue. He says that Balachash you should daven the same thing. So since the tefillah Balachash is a hachana for the Chazar Hashas.
But Chazor Sishatzi was made for the Amarat.
So,
There's a tip not made for me.
This the Chivra Leisha is in number 13. Number 13 says Mama Masha Shama Kveitir Nasi Roma Bishmi Shamarti Sheima Shech Sibin Spal Ba'atzmei Benusach Sfarad. He himself Avin Sfarad the Elif Niateva B'Makim Shasibin Spal Benusach Ashkenaz Ulehipuch. Tzorich Gam Kish Misal B'Lachash Nispal Benusach HaMokim Shemispal Matzibur. He needs Dav Lachash also the same thing. Mishum Shetamash Shliach Sibin Spal B'Lachash. Why does the Shliach Sibin Spal B'Lachash? It's because Hu Kadesh Yaser Tefillah. It's not that he should prepare. He should be Masadesh Tefillah. V'Lei Kasha B'Sheini. She's Spal B'Kol Ram Lifnei Atzibur Hu Emes. That's true. How could you daven a different nusach? You did davening different nusach is not preparation for davening afterwards. If it's going to be a different nusach.
Who says that?
Says v'chein b'furish b'Magen Avram sim kuf chav dalet sil katin gimel l'dino masha shas shliach tzibur yispal b'lachash hu k'dei lahaser tefillah. It's a purpose. Hachana. I didn't look into this whole union. It's hachana for his tefillah. After tefillah kol hashana im leikot chak tzarech shliach tzibur yispal tefillah b'lachash lahaser tefillah. Yeah. Anyways.
You don't have kavanah for the first bracha in Shemona Esrei. That's one of the chiyuvim.
Yeah.
First bracha, you don't. You go back and you daven again.
We don't because the the second time you want.
Do you understand my question right now? He's saying he's doing a preparation, and we don't know if the guy has kavanah for the first balachash, and he might not have kavanah
Still
b'tzibur.
for the Isias, I'm saying for the Seder, for the...
So what happens the other day? He davened. There's a Polish way of pronouncing it, and then there's the ashkenaz. And said baruch hu kaini, baruch hu keinu. So you're saying that he should also be consistent.
The kaini is also a problem.
Is that
means
a problem?
me, not like we.
Then make
Means
you
me.
daven for the tzibur if it's Polish and you want to daven the other way. You want to
saying
daven
Balachash is going to daven with a Tziddush pronunciation, and when daven the Kol, he's going to daven.
Me?
Not only
Not like
that,
kainu.
are you even allowed to daven? If the tzibur is davening a Polish way, are you allowed to go and daven the Lubavitcher way?
He's saying with a Havara.
Yeah, with the Avara. No, yeah, I'll tell you one more thing. The Rebbe has a thing. The problem is of a hefsek. He puts in the siddur v'shamru b'nei Yisrael after on Shabbos before Shemona Esrei by Friday night. Right? He puts it in the siddur, but he says that's a hefsek.
Thank you.
So what happens if you daven for the tzibur? So the tzibur is saying a hefsek right now. So do you make the hefsek also? It's a hefsek. That's how we paskin. We put it in the siddur because of a bakasha of the Barditchever. He said to put it whatever. But That's because Nusach Hagra doesn't. That's because of Nusach Hagra.
So if you're davening for a different sivur, say if you're the Shtei Sivur and you're going with their
But the
Nusach, so you go with their Nusach.
But the hefsek.
Well, what's the hefsek? What is the hefsek?
I'm saying, but I'm saying there should the Surim out there, right? I'm saying Lapil, there are people
The
who do
Rebbe,
it.
he didn't hold it. The Alter Rebbe held it. It was a hefsek. It is a shita, but he's pasking. It's a hefsek.
Well, saying, but anything, every part of the Nusach we do different is because
I think
we
that
also-
one said better not to the tzibur. I think someone said because of that, it's better not to daven for the tzibur because it's a big problem.
Okay.
Yes, Rabbi, my old Shiloh, my old Yeshiva,
Yeah.
down by Dom in a different shul, with a different Nusach, he says better not to down by Dom.
Oh, see?
Better not to down by
Better not to that. That's all.
Better not to down by Dom. Take addition and better not to down at
Right.
the
Yeah.
That's, you can ask him today, the Shiloh, because he's not here, but I asked him Shiloh and he told
I
me
mean, you
better
could
not.
ask him, but you might not know what he's answering.
He could answer you, but I don't know how.
Yeah.
If you're chiv, what do you do?
That was the question. If you heal and you want to down by Dom,
I did it last year when I davened for my father, right? I davened in shul over here in Flatbush. They have a different
so I asked him the Shiloh, when you down by Dom, and he said better not to down by Dom.
Nusach, that's it.
Rabbi, Rabbi.